And welcome, everyone, to the Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition. Hello, for those of you who just joined, take a look at the slide. There are some instructions before we get started. Welcome to the Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition meeting. We'll get started in a couple of minutes and then I will share the agenda so you all know what's happening this meeting. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, it's 2:05. Priya, if you could just keep an eye out on anybody who is still hoping to join us and let them in. Sure. I would appreciate that. And I'm gonna stop sharing. Know that we have a little community builder that you can put in chat. So please share your name in chat, your agency, one of your favorite ways to stay cool in hot weather. And I will put a call out towards the end of our presentations for any organizational updates that you have. So we'll have those at the end. I'm going to stop sharing. Did someone have a question before I move on? Okay, I thought I heard someone. I also want to remind everyone these cool links here at the bottom of on the slide here. So Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition website has all the cool stuff. So we recently updated the free meal guide. We have lots of cool updates, the newsletter, the recording of this meeting. And if you want to subscribe to one of our executive team members' amazing newsletter, you can do it here as well. And then our email is the last link that I will share where you can contact us if you have any questions. So I'm going to stop sharing and officially start the meeting. Thanks all for being here. And Marwan, are you ready to record?
Already going.
Already going. Okay. Thank you, Marwan. I really appreciate this. As you know, the Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition is recorded courtesy of the Conduit. So thank you again, Marwan, for supporting us and getting the word out and making this accessible asynchronously. I also want to always acknowledge and recognize the executive committee team who does so much to support this meeting and this coalition. And maybe in Zoom world, if you guys know how to like do a wavy hand or a thumbs up, you can put that to introduce you as I introduce you. So for example, I am Lisa. I am your chair, and I'm giving you a thumbs up for being here today. Next, we've got Katie Sharp, who is our vice chair. Katie Sharp, she's doing a congratulations. Yes, congratulations, you are here. Priya Cherry, there you go. She is our amazing secretary. There's a lot of notes taken at these meetings, and she somehow magically catches them all every time. We've got Bridget Glasspool. Bridget, are you in the house today? She might not be. And Carla Foster from KCR. Okay, I thought I was going to be able to see the thumbs this quickly. If you guys are there, I'm sorry I don't see you because of my how I'm viewing the meeting, but thank you for your support and work. Leif from KMHS, he maintains our website. Thank you, Leif, for always keeping us up to date and accessible. And last, Virginia McCaslin from the county. Thank you for being here and supporting the team. Okay. I'm going to share the agenda real quick, just so you guys know what's coming up. Okay. So just going to share a couple of friendly reminders. We're going to go over minutes approval from last month's meeting. Today we have a presentation from Carla Foster from Kitsap Community Resources. She's going to walk us through the Housing Solution Center intake process. We're going to go through the KCR's recent community and needs assessment dashboard. And then she's going to give us a few more updates from KCR. Eric Harrell from Salvation Army is just going to share a little bit about what's going on with Salvation Army during their transition. As you know, they went back to pre-pandemic service model, and they are still offering services in the community, although the shelter is now closed. And many updates from the Kitsap County Division on housing and homelessness. So we've got an update on the Pacific Housing Project. The coalition did put out a letter in support for that project. And then we've got a coordinated grant process that Virginia's going to talk about with you all. And then we have the agency updates at the end. And so I'll put a call out and you can just add your name to chat when I do that, and we will make sure that everyone has a chance to share any updates that are happening in your organization. And since I have it up, I'm going to just remind everybody about our vision, mission, and values. Our vision: every person in our community has a safe, decent, stable, and appropriate home. Our mission is that the Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition provides leadership to end homelessness through planning coordination among social service providers, advocacy, and education. And our values: the coalition strives to carry out our mission with respect, commitment, compassion, integrity, and a willingness to change. Okay, and I'm going to briefly go through chat. So in virtual world, we're always trying to connect. Thank you for being here. And it looks like, let's see, what are some of the things that people are sharing about staying cool during our mini heat wave? So Virginia, she loves the shade of a big tree. I didn't coin the term, but I always say shade makes the grade. And it's so true. Even in this Northwest climate, I grew up in a hot desert climate. Jeff Coughlin from Bremerton City Council, a cold drink on the porch. Exactly. That's a wonderful way to cool down. Brianna from Scarlet Road. She's got a happy smiley face, but no ways of staying cool. And that's okay, Brianna. I'm sure you're very cool in all weather conditions. Leif says ice. Yes, ice is a great way to stay cool. And as a compulsive ice chewer that tries to hide it from everybody, I do that as well. Okay, Jerry from Coffee Oasis. A shaded spot always helps me stay cool. Heather Blau from Housing Kitsap says, gotta have a fan. Sean Nye with Helpline House says, camping on the beach. Yeah, does anyone just pull out their tent and camp in their yard when it gets so unbearably hot? Oh, I'm seeing something from Katie. She's giving a cheer. Great strategy too. Michelle J-Rowe from Kitsap Transit, she finds a place with AC. In Washington, that's a small miracle. But I know that they're out there. Jason from Kitsap County, Aging and Long-Term Care, a swamp cooler, which is a bucket of ice and a fan to keep me cool during the summer. And you've got a couple of updates, so we'll get to those. Thank you, Jason. Madison from Kitsap Homes of Compassion. Lock myself in a room with an air conditioner. Yes. Susan, she says, I'm a resident of Bremerton and a member of the Alliance for Equitable Healthcare, Kitsap County. And you go to the Roxy. Yes, the Roxy movie theaters are a great way to cool down. Nicole from Salish BH ASO. Central Air, which I realize I'm very privileged to have in this region. Yeah, you're a lucky person, and I think more and more we need AC units. But many of us just have an unfinished basement and no air conditioning. Roland from Project Share, lots of ice cream. Yes. Ann Presson is joining for the first time from the Kitsap County Commissioner's Office, and she loves chocolate shaved ice with vanilla ice cream. That sounds delicious. Talia from Kitsap Public Health, going to the beach. Teresa from Housing Kitsap, AC in a dark area. Yes. Emily Larson from Kitsap Rescue Mission, dipping my feet into my mini pool. Doug Washburn from Kitsap County Human Services, lakes. Yes, we are privileged and lucky to have so many of them in Washington State. Katie from Catholic Community Services and our hen program, another lake lover. Yes, yes, yes. Priya from our very own downtown Bremerton Library, ice cream of all flavors. Joe Walter is here with G2 Housing in Bremerton. Katie, she is from Bremerton Housing Authority and living near the water. Yeah, like hopefully Katie's very near to the water. She's on the water, so you can't stay any more moderated than that. Thank you, Katie. Corey from Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Division, the county's division, AC, fans, and shades. Faith from Kitsap Homes of Compassion, stays cool by swimming in Mason Lake. Sarah from Kitsap Public Health, chronic disease and injury prevention, being out by the ocean or any type of waterfront is her way to cool off. Molly Brooks from Erase, dipping dots. I don't know what those are. Molly, can you elaborate? I must know.
They're kind of like freeze-dried ice cream.
Oh, okay. Can you just get them anywhere?
Usually at fairs.
Fairs, amusement parks, the beach.
Okay, well, I'll have to check it out at this in August when Kitsap County Fair happens. Thanks, dipping dots. Joey from Kitsap Homes of Compassion, swimming, yes. Grace Ingram from Kitsap, and she keeps cool by drinking a tall glass of ice cold lemonade. That sounds wonderful. Sonia from Kitsap County's Human Services Division likes to sit under trees for shade, reading a book, or turning down the heat on the hot tub and enjoying cooler water. Katie Sharp, this is Carla from KCR, who's presented today. She keeps cool by eating ice. I love ice. You're not alone, Carla. Leif and I are also really big into ice. And I'm a compulsive ice chewer, so we'll have to do that together sometimes. All right, Martita. She says, buenas tardes all, and she is from KPHD, the Parent and Child Nurse Family Partnership, doing great work. And she loves cold water, ice cream, fraps, and air conditioning, please. So thank you all for sharing that way to cool off. I'm in an air-conditioned-less house and a work home, so I like to think of ways to stay cool. And thank you all for just sharing a little bit about yourselves. Okay, I'm gonna do a formality, which is to approve the minutes from last month. So I'm gonna share them on the screen, and then I need someone to move to approve the minutes, and I need someone to second that. And here they are. So I will slowly scroll down. Don't be shy, speak up. They're great. We shared lots of news articles about good developments in Kitsap related to housing and homelessness last month. The free meal guide is updated and on our website.
I will move to approve.
Thank you, Katie. Do I have a second?
Eric Harold will second.
Yay, thank you both. And thank you again, Priya, for taking such excellent notes. Okay, I just wanted to highlight, even though I think I've said it 3 times, I'm going to share one more time just where to find that free meal guide. And let me see if you guys can see what I see. Are you all seeing the free meal guide on your screen right now? Yes, okay. So that's the updated version redesigned by one of our library staff, Laura Jordan. And so it's a lot easier to read. And right now we should all be looking at the Housing and Homelessness Coalition website. If you remember, but you haven't applied in a long time, we're trying to update that. So you can always just fill out a form. It helps us keep all of our contacts updated, and it will give you some instruction on how you can support the coalition. But you can do that by joining us here. And then the important resources that are asked for often from the coalition are right up top. So we have the resource guide that was redesigned and updated this fall. And we also have the most recent free meal guide updated just last month. So I wanted to point those out for all of you so you know where to look, and you can download and print as you need. Okay, so Carla is doing us a big favor and sharing us a little bit about the housing intake for Housing Solution Center. It's our first place to go, and I think it's always good to have a refresher on that, just so we can better guide our community, our clients, our patrons. And so Carla, I give the floor to you, and just let me know if there's anything you need to support.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm actually going to give the floor to the Housing Solution Center Coordinator, Kathleen. Heidi, and she's gonna walk us through that. All right.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kathleen. I'm the coordinator for Housing Solutions Center. So we have an intake process with our office. We can either do phone intakes over the phone if a client's not able to make it to the office, or we can do a walk-in. If the client wants to come in and see a navigator, our walk-in hours are from 8:30 to 10:30, and then again from 12:30 to 3 p.m. They can get resources outside of those hours, but within those hours is specific to sitting down and getting like a referral to shelter, or if they need transportation out of county or out of state to live with family, we could do that. And so if they're unable to do that, though, we do also work with people over the phone. If they're able to talk to a navigator over the phone, we can make an appointment that way. We also have an outreach team that goes out into the encampments, and that's the HEART outreach team. And they meet with people in the encampments and do intakes out there. And we also have, we also have our inpatient outreach team, which they can do outreach in within city limits, private property, as long as they're invited. And then they also go into the local treatment centers, Kitsap Mental Health, CTC, PHR, Kitsap Recovery Center. And so we are able to facilitate intakes at those treatment centers as well. I'm sorry, I'm done.
All right, Kathleen, thank you. So next is, I'm gonna try to share my screen so I can walk us through the, okay, let's go to, I'm trying to get to the internet. There we go. To go to the, how do I share my screen? I did. But what did I do? Oh, I'm trying to get to the internet. Here we go. All right, KCR. You didn't pull that up too. You can pull that up. So what Arbor did was he created, can you guys see this?
Yeah, we can see Carla.
All right, so this is the job fair that's coming May 17th. KCR has a job fair. You also see the Kitsap Community Needs Assessment. Arbor said all you do is hit this. Here you have the Kitsap Community Needs Assessment Survey. He said that he created, click below and you can access these different groups if you want to see the group. There's a focus group roadmap, which is down here. Focus groups, who did we meet? And he said that from October of 2022 to December of 2022, they had various focus groups and at different places in Kitsap County. He also said he created what did we hear in our focus groups for Kitsap County residents. And he said that they took surveys and you can click on each one of these to see, to get the numbers. Okay, let's try this. He also showed me this, the community needs assessment data dashboard data. You click here to view the dashboard. And he said, here's the dashboard. Kitsap CNA 2022 introduction. He said, here's the 2022 survey. And you can hit each icon and filter the geography, the household income, filter the age group, the race and ethnicity. And let's try this one. This is what he did when Arbor showed me what he did. And these are the details as my internet is slow, I'm sorry. And he said, these are the details, these are the results. Here's one where it says, do you have children ages 18 or under? 31% said yes, 69% said no. Where do you take children living with you if they get sick or injured. Some said they don't have children living with them, 61%. Clinic or doctor's office was 30%. Urgent care, 17%. Emergency ER, 12%. A lot of them, not a lot of people were doing telehealth anymore. He said 6%. Some said they don't seek medical attention, 2%, and nobody said other. Can everybody see that? Okay. He said this is the Kitsap Public Health District Assessment and EPI team, and he said each one of them gave different results. One of them he showed me was the infant mortality rate, and he said you can click on them individually if you're interested in any of those. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and does anybody have any questions so far? All right, and next is KIPA update. So we are in a spin down because June 30th, 2023, our ERAP and TRAP grants are ending, and we are currently in a spin down. And we were in a meeting with the county earlier discussing that spin down. Any questions for the energy assistance update? We still have our energy department, which is at 825 8th Street at our other building, but also it's a lot of confusion too, because ERAP and TRAP can pay energy assistance. They just have to be behind. And energy, water, or trash, but we only pay, and we can pay internet, but we only pay internet, not phone or cable. Ms. Teresa is asking, are we doing second round? Our lead navigator, rental assistance navigator, Jasmine, she does have second round applications that she will be handing out to the navigators today. So some people are second and third rounds, and we have approximately 87. And she will be giving those to navigators today. So yes, we will be assisting second round. You're welcome, Ms. Teresa. Any other questions? Ms. Gray?
Yes, hi. I'm Grace Ingram with the PCAP, Parent-Child Assistance Program. It's a case management program. And I was just wondering, when you say second and third round, are you saying persons that have been served already once with energy assistance and this is their second and third time for assistance, or may I ask what that means?
Second and third rounds for rental assistance.
Oh, rental.
Households, yes. Households that were served previously for either ERAP in the beginning or TRAP and KRAP.
Then you're accepting people that are second and third, you were saying? Okay.
And then we'll accept the people for second or third, yes.
Okay, and also, when is ERAP and the other rental assistance program winding down? When will that be over, you said?
June 30th, 2023.
June 30th, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And then that will be, it will be CHG and then ARPA. ARPA will be till the end of December, the end of the calendar year.
Okay.
And then CHG starts in July. Virginia, help me out, am I correct?
Yeah, so CHG, I'm actually going to touch on a little bit during the county update, but CHG is currently out for RFP. So the awards for that have not yet been determined, and that was going to be a part of my county update as well. What we're anticipating is as the TRAP 2.0 and the ERAP 2.0 funds wrap up, we should be able to shift into some ARPA funding that's used in the same way as the KIPA funds have been.
And that's all I have, everyone. Any more questions?
Carla, you do have one more. This is from Teresa still. Like, is the wait list closed for KIPA?
Sorry, I was reading another one. Miss Teresa, yes, the wait list is closed, but Yes, the wait list is closed, but Ms. Martita, you said you just got off the phone with Tony.
Yes, have a question regarding the for the rental assistance. For the application, are the requirements?
Oh, no, they don't have to be documented. No, Ms. Martita, they don't have to be documented. And the requirements for ERAP is just they have to be behind in rent.
They need to go to office and submit the application?
Yes, but we're not accepting the applications any longer. I'm sorry. We took applications from April 3rd to April the 14th of 2023.
Okay.
But I'm gonna put my information in the chat, and then you and I can talk, and we can see. I can see how I can assist, because it might be something HSC can do.
All
but
right.
we'll figure it out. So I'm gonna put my information in the chat for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Carla.
Any more questions?
Yeah, Carla, there was, I believe Katie shared this with me, but there's also a written report for the community needs assessment. Do you have any highlights to share from that report?
It was a written report. No, Arbor didn't tell me. I'm sorry, Arbor didn't tell me about a written report. I did ask that as well. He just showed me what was on.
Okay, I'm just going to share it so that people know and we can send that out. So in addition to that data dashboard that Carla shared, like I've been a longtime fan of the Kitsap Community Needs Assessment report. And so it's, you know, it's always great reading for all of the county, but I just want to make sure that everyone knows that there's a written report as well. Like if you're not trying to plug into like specific data in a certain area of the county, but are looking more for like a synthesis of trends and data. So we'll send a link out for that document. And then for the intake process, like there was a lot shared quickly. I always just start by referring to Housing Solution Center, but if there was a place where a client or even someone in the community was not sure how to help someone with housing, what would you KCR folks recommend to do first?
Come to KCR, go to Housing Solution Center, complete an application, and then see a navigator, and the navigator direct them to what program they need. The navigator can direct them to housing. If they need housing, they can refer them to a shelter, or they can refer them to the rental assistance program if they need assistance with rental assistance.
Thanks, Carla. And I always am a big fan of KCR's Housing Solution Center, the little pamphlet that you have. I think I learned that from Kirsten Jewell. She kept a stack in her car and would give to people as she saw. So is it appropriate for us to ask you for that? Or could we request that of you, those pamphlets, if they're still made?
Sorry, I can have Jasmine or Kathleen send some out if anybody needs some.
Yeah, we definitely have pamphlets in the office, and if you want us to drop you off some, or if you are coming to pick up bus tickets, we could always give you a stack of them when you come in.
Awesome. So they are available on request, and Carla's information is in the chat. Any other questions from regarding Kitsap Community Resources and the updates they shared today?
I have a quick question. Carla or someone else from KCR, can you just clarify which services are available at which building? Is the bulk of the Housing Solution Center things at the park location?
Yeah. And at 12:01 is employment, I'm sorry, at 8:45 is energy assistance, which is downstairs.
Housing Solution Center has an office in we have a navigator in Port Orchard, Bainbridge Island, Hallsbow, and Bremerton. We have the most staff at Bremerton.
Great, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, KCR, for sharing a little bit of information about Housing Solution Center and other services and information you are providing for the community. Okay, I'm going to shift over to Eric Harold from Salvation Army. Eric, I see your name. Are you able to share a little bit about the transition the past month and current services at Salvation Army? Okay, Eric might be doing other things right now. So I'm going to shift early. We're pretty early on the agenda, but I'm going to shift over to Kitsap County's Division of Housing and Homelessness. Virginia, Doug, Judy Ray, if you just want to go ahead and get started, and then Eric, if you can hear me, we'll come back to you after. All right, Virginia and County, the floor is yours.
And I'm going to actually, because we are so far ahead of schedule, I have one other person who's planning on joining to talk about their piece of the coordinated grant process at this meeting. So okay. I would like to hand it off to Judy, Ray, and Doug for the Pacific Building update.
Okay.
Judy Ray, go ahead, please.
Sorry, I was having technical difficulties. Hi, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to your group. This is my first meeting with all of you. I'm the project coordinator for the Pacific Building in Port Orchard. It's being renovated into a homeless shelter. I'm sure Kirsten Jewell has shared a lot about our project. It's been going on for a little over a year. We are right now in permitting, and today is the deadline to receive support letters from agencies and persons in the community who would like to support the homeless shelter project or the co-shelter project, because we are going to have companion animals as well. It's exciting. Lisa has submitted a letter from the entire group. So thank you, Lisa, for getting that to me. In the chat, I put the information on where the letter or your email of support can go to. I will also post in the chat the public hearing notice, which will be in person and on Zoom. You might want to put this down. It's going to be quite a show. May 25th at 9 a.m. It's going to be the Kitsap County hearing examiner. And they're going to be presenting our entire project. Doug is going to be giving a sort of county report on the project. Kitsap Rescue Mission is going to give a quick report on the project. And then there will be quite a few people in the house sharing comments, both for the project and opposed to the project. So the hearing examiners meeting is going to be critical for our permit approval. And I just wanted to invite all of you to participate in that. It will be at the Port Orchard administration building where the commissioner's chambers is on the second floor. There's plenty of parking available down there, or you can attend via Zoom. So everybody's invited to participate and to see what this project looks like going forward.
Thanks, Judy. do you mind putting that key information in chat as well, like the date and time, location?
Absolutely. I'll put the agenda in the chat.
Great. Judy, I'm going to open the floor to questions unless you had any other information you wanted to share before we did that.
I'm absolutely willing to answer any questions. If I can't, Doug will.
Okay. All right. Well, coalition members, do you have any questions for Judy or Doug regarding the Pacific Building project in Port Orchard?
Nope.
And just speak up or use your raising hand icon on Zoom. Well, I have some questions like, when do you think it's going to open? Do you have a good estimate on that?
That's a really great question. That's one we're all been hoping to have a solid answer for. You know, permitting has been really arduous. It's been tougher than we expected, actually. So our first big hurdle really is getting this permit approved. Once our permit's approved, it's going to be, you know, I like to say smooth sailing. That's what I'm thinking. We'll get the other two major permits done, and then we'll break ground. And, you know, it's going to be 6 months to a year for sure. But we are so committed to it. It doesn't matter how long it takes. We're going to get it done. Right, Doug?
Yeah, the sooner the better.
Yes.
Yeah. It will be nice to have that option. And again, just to remind everybody, isn't Civic Building like it's a family shelter? So, and pets are allowed. Like, what are, can you remind us all of the features that we're hoping to offer from that building?
Yeah, sure. We are renovating a very large gym and training facility in Port Orchard on Mile Hill. Probably everybody in the South Kitsap area has been to this facility. It's rare that somebody hasn't. It's been around for quite some time. County bought it about 2 years ago. When the gym is empty, it's huge. It will support 75 beds, and people in those beds will range anywhere from emancipated youth, high school students, to seniors. We're going to have a co-shelter pet care facility in the building for the pets, the companion animals. It'll be limited at the very beginning to dogs, cats, rabbits, and ferrets. And we have put a pet advisory group together who will be helping us and helping Kitsap Rescue Mission care for the pets and care for the owners. It's going to have a brand new HVAC system. It's going to have all upgraded utilities, gas, water, sewer, brand new shower facilities, a commercial kitchen ultimately. It's going to be really a nice place for a shelter facility. And we're hoping that at the time when we get, you know, our people in there, of course, we're going to call them guests, that Kitsap Rescue Mission will be very familiar with the building, very much a part of the renovation project. And so occupancy will be just as quick as we can get that permit. And they'll be ready to rock and roll.
It sounds amazing, Judy. I'm going to share the coalition. Like I did write a letter to support this. So I'll make sure to share that, and you all will have a link to that as well. But one last question. This was was very excited about the projects that are developing in Port Orchard, some by the county, some by other organizations. But I was sharing that with the library in Port Orchard, and they were concerned about like Pacific Building Place being outside of the city limits. And it might be too early to say, but is there like a bus route to connect, like from downtown Port Orchard to that Mile Hill location that's closer to Manchester?
Actually, it is outside the city limits. However, it is in South Kitsap County. So there are Kitsap Transit bus stops. Aside from the bus stops, though, Kitsap Rescue Mission will be working with Kitsap Transit to do access buses, vans, and during the weekends, Kitsap Rescue Mission will be shuttling in their own vans. They've gotten several vans now to shuttle people to important hubs like for shopping, for recreation, for transportation. They'll be going to the ferries, they'll be going to the other bus stops. So we have a pretty wide range of transportation available.
Awesome. That's really great to hear, Judy. There is a question in chat from Bernice. She's asking, is there any option for pets to be fostered there if the client is homeless?
Well, actually, that's a good question because the shelter is for the most vulnerable. So the guests will be bringing their pets into shelter with them. The foster care situation is being developed now for in the event a guest goes into treatment or is hospitalized or has a longer term need than we can do in the kennel facility. So foster care will be part of the maintenance or the care for the animals in the event that a guest is not able to care for their animal. That's how we will use foster care.
Bernice says, okay, thanks. Any other questions for Doug or Judy? Oh, Martita's asking, will you have bilingual personnel that speak Spanish?
You know, as far as the service providers go, I would have to leave that up to Kitsap Rescue Mission because they'll be doing the human service piece. But what I neglected to say was not only will we have a pet health care, we will have a human health care facility as well in that building. So I'm sure there will be bilingual assistance, but we'll have to wait and see what Kitsap Rescue Mission has to say about all that.
Thanks, Judy. So just to clarify, like the city is launching the project, but Kitsap Rescue Mission is the operation behind once the building is made. They're running the services, correct?
The Kitsap County purchased the building. So the facility belongs to Kitsap County. The city doesn't have anything to do with it, except we did get a letter of support from the city council and the city mayor yesterday. So it is a county-run building, county-owned and operated. The services will be provided by a service provider, Kitsap Rescue Mission. Yes.
Great, thank you. And Martita is saying equity and inclusion, Spanish-speaking staff should be considered. And I think, like, I don't know if we have anybody from Kitsap Rescue Mission, but I would say that, like, that can be shared in the notes and directed to them as they manage those operations. Thank you, Martita. Okay. Are there any further questions regarding the Pacific Building Project? All right, and then I'm going to, oh, here we go. Marwan, will Quality Inn still house people? That is where Kitsap Rescue Mission is temporarily located.
Quality Inn will house people at least through December of this year, and a little bit longer, but after we would like to have them continue services. We're just working on the funding for that right now. And we're working closely with Mayor Wheeler on that, what money we might have available.
Thank you, Marwan, for your question, and Doug for your response. Additional question here from Marwan. Is there a plan for this winter with Salvation Army closing? Marwan, I think we can probably in combination like answer that question with Eric Harold and Doug Washburn maybe together on that. So I'm going to table it because Eric might know a little bit more about the plans for Salvation Army, and then I might refer back to you, Doug, for a response if they are closed this winter. But I'm going to table that till Salvation Army's presentation. Doug, is that okay with you? Were you, I know, like, were you planning to pop off? Because then I will like just answer Marwan's question with Eric right now.
No, it's fine with me. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. To be transparent with the group here, let me just share the letter that I wrote on behalf of the coalition, and I did share it with the committee, and we'll get this out to you. But I'll just read that briefly so that you all know what we supported. So this letter is to support the Pacific Housing Project homeless shelter facility located on Mile Hill in Port Orchard. The Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition understands that housing with wraparound support services is a critical need in Kitsap County, especially for people chronically homeless. People with disabilities and other long-term health concerns are often turned away from housing because the options available do not meet the demand. In South Kitsap, the need is especially dire because there are less support services available and no shelters, except when the severe weather shelters are open. Projects similar to the Pacific Housing Project, like Pendleton Place and Bremerton, have successfully housed people who need it the most. Their residents can live with dignity and get the health services they need. The Pacific Housing Project will benefit the broader South Kitsap community by reducing the number of people living unsheltered and challenges associated with homelessness. So that is the letter that we submitted to support the project. So thank you, Judy and Doug. I'm staying with the county and I'm tabling to come back to Marwan's question regarding Salvation Army shelter and alternate shelters in Bremerton until we get to Salvation Army. So next, Virginia, like who from the county is sharing the next update?
Lisa,
Go ahead.
Could I just add one thing, Lisa?
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to let everybody know that the Pacific Building will be part of the Day of Caring for the United Way on June 23rd. We'll be doing a cleanup on the property, and United Way is sponsoring that, offering t-shirts and lunch to everyone that wants to come out. And some more information will be available on the United Way website. But we did want to invite anyone who is interested in coming out for that day. I think it's going to be like 9:30 to 3 at the property, and we'll give you a tour of the facility if you haven't been inside of it. Thank you.
Thanks, Judy. And again, just to help our note taker, like if you have a date, even if you don't have the time frames, like the date and that information in chat would be helpful. Okay, Virginia, I'm going to transition back to you to guide us on the next county update.
Thank you very much. So as you probably are aware, it's been a really busy time here at the county. You can partially tell by how many of us are on this call today and sharing little bits and pieces. One of the things that we're working on currently is that the updates from the legislative session have recently come in, And we've been, kind of getting bits and pieces of information trickling in from that. We don't have all of the pieces yet to the puzzle, but we've been putting together what we can. And there's some good news that has come out of that. There was a small amount, not enough, unfortunately, but is often the case. There was a small amount of local document recording fee support that came. And so we're anticipating that for the coming cycle. That's funding that we typically use for shelters and for other homeless service organizations. So that will be a help in making up for some of the budget shortfalls that we're going to be seeing in the next couple of years. We also got some direction from them to prioritize maintaining and or increasing, if possible, some of the emergency housing capacity, which I think the team has done a great job of pursuing those options and opportunities as they come up. So some good information has come in. Unfortunately, I don't have as many answers and updates as a lot of you are hoping, but we're getting some good information in, so that's nice. The other thing that we've been really busy with is gearing up for the next cycle, the next grant cycle. And so there are a couple different pieces of that. One is that the CHG and HEN RFPs are live. They are on the county's website. And the letter of intent deadline for that is coming up next week. So if your organization is intending to apply for that, please ensure that you get that letter of intent submitted. And then the other aspect is the coordinated grant application process. This is the process that we use to provide the 2-year funding cycles for our HHGP, the Homeless Housing Grant Program, and AHGP, which is the Affordable Housing Grant Program. We have a lot of acronyms. Those pre-applications are now being accepted, and the due date for those is coming up. I wanted to talk a little bit about that process, what that is, which different funding sources that covers, and some of the key dates. So I'm going to go ahead and try sharing my screen, and we will see if technology agrees with me today. Is that visible?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so our 2024 and 2025 coordinated grant application process, a little bit of a change. In the past, this has been done in coordination with our division, the Housing and Homelessness Division, as well as CDBG and HOME. Now we have additional funding sources that are joining that process. The goal is to try and simplify the process for our applicants. Oftentimes we see applications come through that may be eligible for other funding sources, but they're not necessarily applying for. So it gives us an opportunity to come together, look at the different projects that you're proposing, and identify which options you might be eligible for. It's really been a cool process, and not without its hiccups. But this is a list of the funding sources that are going to be included in the process this year and moving forward. The new additions to that are the Community Investments in Affordable Housing, CIA, and the Mental Health, Chemical Dependency, and Therapeutic Court programs. Some of the key dates for the process, as I mentioned, the pre-applications are currently being accepted and they are required. So one pre-application for every program or project is going to be really important. If you are currently receiving funding from any of those funding sources on the screen or are interested in applying, it's going to be important that you get that pre-application in. Those will be due on May 26th, and we'll be holding pre-application appointments June 1st through the 28th, basically during the month of June, to identify if there are any funding sources that an organization or a program might be available or eligible for that wasn't currently on their radar. And those pre-application appointments are not a big, scary interview process. It's a very casual meeting. It's talking about the different programs and figuring out how we can maximize things for you and streamline things for you. There will be technical assistance training at the end of June, and then the grant application itself goes live on June 29th. So these are some of the key dates for that. pre-application forms, the current phase that we're in, and as we go through this process, we can provide additional updates to this group as well, but as well as to our quarterly grantee meetings. But the pre-application form that's live now, it's required for all applicants. That includes shelter applicants. And I want to highlight that because there has been some confusion. And so just making sure that even if it's a shelter project, make sure that you get those the pre-applications in. When those pre-applications are received, they go to what we call our CGAP team. And we review them together. We review each of them together to identify which funding sources you might be eligible for. So we know who can be at the table to have that conversation with you to really hone it in so that you're not running around chasing funding sources that you might not be eligible for, and you're not missing any potential opportunities for funding. And as mentioned previously, those forms are due by May 26th. So next, I'm going to hand it over to Joel Warren. He is the program manager for the SIA program. That's a new funding opportunity. So he wanted to come and share a little bit about that opportunity with this group, in case you're not familiar with it, so you can tap into that resource.
Awesome. Thanks, Virginia. All right, I'll share my screen. I promised Virginia I'd be fast, so I only have like 5 slides. So not death by PowerPoint today, but I'll keep time at the end. If people have questions, I'm happy to stay and answer any questions. Okay, so as Virginia mentioned, it's called the SIA program, which is the Community Investments in Affordable Housing. So it derived from the 0.1% sales tax that was probably pretty popular with the mental health services side. This is the same kind of funding source, but now built more with a capital component. So really quickly, I know it's not getting in the weeds too far, but so SIA is really ultimately 2 different sources. It's that 0.1% sales tax, which is all eligible sales in Kitsap County, minus Paulsbo and Bainbridge. So they receive their own. So if you ever applied to Hannah's program, which is a 0.1% mental health program, this funding source is a little bit less because Paulsbo and Bainbridge receive their own. And then there's a less popular tax program called the 1406 program that started about 3 years ago. It's a lot less money, but it's been accruing some funds for a few years. So this year's RFP with SIA might be a little bit bigger than what you see in future years because we have a few $100,000 in cash reserves that we'll try to expend this year. So who it can serve is an important question to answer. So they're both very similar. So the programs bill ultimately for any household or individual earning less than 60% AMI. The really big pot of funding, which is about $5 million a year, we're thinking is 60% AMI plus one of those things on the left. So people with behavioral health disabilities, veterans, senior citizens. It includes this at risk of being homeless category. That's up to us to define. The state has left it open. Usually that's anyone or less than 30% AMI, but there are other conditions that we could set for ourselves if we find a population in need. Unaccompanied homeless youth or young adults, persons with disabilities more generally, and domestic violence survivors. So again, 60% AMI plus one of those things. The smaller pot of funding is the same, just more broad. So any household, any person earning 60 AMI, without one of those other things attached. I know the rent income limits just came out, so this is the newest AMI. So when we're saying 60% AMI, this is the household size, and then this would be the value they have to earn less than. What it can do, so this is the bigger pot of funding, so a little bit more strict. Ultimately, this bill was passed with the spirit to construct and acquire new units of affordable housing, but it can do lots of other things too. I think the biggest takeaway from all of this statute language is it's really built to construct or acquire affordable housing units. And when we say affordable housing, we mean one of a few things. We mean emergency shelter, transitional housing, and then supportive housing, which is ultimately PSH, but it could be a few other things. There are other kinds of models that would work under supportive housing, but generally the state has said PSH. So it can both acquire and construct the units themselves. It can also be used to actually buy the land where those would be constructed in the future. Along with affordable housing, it can be used for behavioral health facilities, and same goes with this. You can also acquire the land to later construct a behavioral health facility. It can fund operations and maintenance. Again, the caveat here is for new units of affordable housing. This is not being prioritized the first year. I'll go over that at the very end, kind of where our priorities are right now in the process. So big takeaway from all these words, the fund is really set up to construct and acquire new units of affordable housing. 40% can be used for services, but the county is really not deciding to do that since there is that completely other 0.1% sales tax that's really dedicated to only services. So this pot of money is going to be really utilized for those larger capital projects. This other 1406 pot of money, again, a lot of words here. I think the key takeaway is it can do all the things the other pot of money can do with the addition of rental assistance. So where the other money cannot be used for rental assistance, only this money can. So I've seen in quite a few pre-apps, there's lots of need for this. Understandably, during COVID, there was a lot of these programs. And with those kind of sunsetting in the near future, the need is huge. So we expect to do some rental assistance with this money, but just know that it's limited to at most $500,000 a year. And ultimately, we're not prioritizing this, but understanding that the need might be huge given the sunset. We'll see where we are with all the applications. So just kind of what Virginia said, taking a step back of where SIA fits. So from the applicant perspective, if you have a capital or service project and you submit the pre-app form and ultimately then an application, you're really applying to all of these different kinds of county funds that ultimately are geared towards serving the same kinds of populations. So whether it's housing, shelter, or service, you're really applying for the SIA fund, home, CDBG, home ARP this year, the 0.1% mental health tax, and then all of Virginia's programs as well. Just to give you a visual, and many of you may have already seen this. So this is the actual coordinated grant application process webpage on the county's website. There's a link to a calendar here, which kind of goes through all the deadlines. It's color-coded by the program. This is the first year we're doing this, so we really try to coordinate as much as possible, but it was kind of hard to shift some things midstream. So there are some differences between programs, but by and large, they're very similar. But this will help you figure out which program you're applying to and then those deadlines. And then if you want a list of all the programs available behind the coordinated process, here they are. Each has their own webpage. They'll have their own policy plans. You can check out all the individual program stuff here. So that was a lot of info thrown at you. I'll stop sharing. Other questions, comments, whether it's about SIA or the larger process?
I'd like to add, I did go ahead and put the link to the webpage that Joel shared in chat, so that's available to everybody. And to just really highlight, if you have a program that is providing any of those types of services, please go ahead and submit that pre-application, and we will help guide you through whether or not you're going to be eligible for any of those funding sources. So please know that the goal here is to make things easier on you as you navigate that process. That webpage also has contact information for all of us. So if you have any specific questions, do not hesitate to reach out at any time.
Thank you, Virginia. And thank you, Virginia's your name on your Zoom window, so I can't remember your first name. Can you remind us all?
Wait, I'm not sure why. I didn't realize that. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
My name is Joel.
Joel, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Joel.
I'm sorry.
Virginia, Doug, Judy, Ray. That's a lot of information from the county. It sounds like you're making good headway and progress as normal. Thank you, Virginia, for just sharing, like, people can apply and you're going to guide them and give them coaching on their application. That process can be a lot on top of your regular job. So thanks for that assistance. Is there any, if there's no other questions or comments, I'm going to shift over to Salvation Army and give my thanks to our previous presenters, Carla from KCR and all the folks from the county's Division of Housing and Homelessness. All right, Eric, I see you. You're not muted. Eric's become my buddy lately because the Downtown Bremerton Library and Salvation Army, we serve a lot of the same people. And so he's been a real guide and coach to me personally, but also Salvation Army has gone through a big transition. And so Eric, I just wanted you to again, remind everybody about the shelter at Salvation Army and what current services are being offered. And then Marwan, I haven't forgotten your question, so I will come to that as well.
Sure, and thank you, and hi everybody, and thank you, Lisa. I'm sorry you didn't know it. I could use a lot of, well, you might already know I need a lot of guiding anyway, but I was yelling at my computer when you called on me the first time. I was buried it under too many layers, and I was yelling at it and pushing my mouse repeatedly. Didn't work. I'm so sorry I wasn't available right away, but so some of you may have experienced that. So thank you. Salvation Army is now doing our summertime operation, which is breakfast and lunch at 8 o'clock and 12 o'clock Monday through Friday. It means we don't have any operations over the weekend at all, whether it be food or anything else. We have social services during the day. So our social services could be anything from help with cremation or getting a driver's license or other forms of vouchers that we do. We also do housing referrals. We do bus tokens. We have the Warm Home Energy Fund for families. We are soon going to have a clothing bank. We're probably about 3 weeks away from having a clothing bank, probably half a year, 3/4 of a year away from having a food bank. And it'll be in the new Shelves of Hope building, which is what we're calling the old Monica building, Shelves of Hope. And that's going to be a client choice food pantry where you could just bring in a cart and walk through and shop like you're in Safeway. And so we're excited about that coming about. So we're going to be in a lot of restoration of that property and remodeling. There'll be a garden in the back, a full garden, vegetable type garden, food garden area for the community to come down and interface with us and be able to grow herbs and plants and things that are going to be provided in the pantry, in the food bank. So we're excited about all that happening. So those are nice changes for us. As far as the sheltering part of Salvation Army's operation, we are going to be resuming, provided the county is willing to fund winter shelter. We'll be resuming winter shelter, I hope, December 1, and it'll probably go through March 31st. And
you know, whatever services they need, she can support them for 6 months, and she has some funds available too. They might just need some gas money to get to a doctor's appointment or something. So Candace Corrie is the person to connect for that support. The other thing I wanted to also share is the VA has a addiction treatment center social worker that comes, and she's looking to support the community in any way that she can as well with addiction. Anybody with substance use issues, she's looking at ways to increase her outreach in the community. So we're putting together maybe a barbecue or something, a social event that mental health providers or crisis responders can come to, and see how she can best support the community as well. And I'll put her flyer in the chat as well. But if anybody wants to connect, just let me know.
Thank you, Bernice. We appreciate that info. Jerry with Coffee Oasis, you have the floor.
I hit the wrong unmute button. Thank you. We, after having our Nelson House in Paulsville closed for 5 months, we opened back up this last week, and we have 4 beds available for women ages 18 through 25. And they can stay in the house for up to 2 years. So that's really exciting to have that housing option again. And I don't know if any of you have been to our block party before. I think 2014 was the last year we had a block party in Bremerton, and we are having a block party on July 8th at the Kiwanis Park in Bremerton. That will be open to the whole community. And it's just, we're inviting community partners to come and just provide, everything will be free. It will be free. There'll be free food and games, and the Kitsap Admirals are going to be doing a clinic, and we'll be having a basketball clinic. We'll have a cornhole tournament and just games, just fun for the whole family. It's just a great way for the community to get together and be loved on, just free of charge. So if any of you would like to participate in that, we would love to have you join us. So yeah, I think that's it for us.
Thank you, Jerry. That sounds like an awesome event. And just a reminder, Coffee Oasis will provide a meal to any youth under 25. Is that correct?
Yes. Every Friday night we have late nights where we have dinner, and then in the drop-in centers, most days we'll have some type of food, like meal or just sandwiches provided.
Okay. Thank you. And if you can put, I don't know if you were able to put it in, but if you could put that July 8th block party date in the chat, just so we can refer to it when we're taking notes as well. And if you have times for that, great. Thank you again, Jerry, for sharing that. And I'm glad that you're here today. All right, I'm going to shift over to Sarah from Kitsap Public Health. You have an update about SNAP match programs?
Yes, I think this is a wonderful kind of jumping off point because you asked about meals. So I work with SNAP Ed, which helps access for food. And I know that was a common theme in that KCR report. So I'll share a little bit about the SNAP match programs and put those in the links in the chat, but also would just invite anyone on this call, if you'd want to connect with me to talk more about food access for low-income individuals, also have my email there. So that's kind of my role at the health district. So the first match program that I'll talk about is the Produce Match, and that is a program for anyone that has an EBT card, where if they shop at Safeway or Albertsons and they purchase $10 worth of fresh or frozen fruits and vegetables with no additives, they can get $10 back for their next purchase. And that $10 increase for that coupon is through June 30th or until funds run out. And then it'll go back to being $5. But that can be used as many times in a week as people want. and it kind of helps people stretch their dollar a little bit further. The other program that I want to highlight, especially now that we have warmer weather, is our Market Match program. So that, again, is for anyone with an EBT card, so SNAP benefits or TANF, if they go to a participating market or farmer market stand and they purchase $25, or if they want to match up to $25 for purchase of fresh fruits and vegetables or plant starts. So again, another way people to stretch their dollar. And so buying those plant starts would also allow people to kind of have their own garden that they can start. And the links that I'll provide will have the locations for those participating retailers. The other two programs that I'll highlight pretty quick here is our Senior Farmer Market Nutrition Program and the WIC Farmer Market Nutrition Program. And the big announcement for those of you who haven't heard already is that those are going to be card benefits this year. Traditionally, they've been checks. This year, it's going to be a card that has a little QR code. So it's going to be pretty dramatic, especially for our seniors that aren't as tech savvy. We're hoping that that's going to be an ease of access for not having to lose where did the check go, and it can be broken up a little bit easier when they go to the market. So again, I'll put the information in the chat for how people can access those applications. I believe, KRL, most locations should have applications for Meals on Wheels Kitsap, which is our local administrator for our senior farmer market nutrition program. And thank you, Frida. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out, or I can answer them now too.
Thank you, Sarah. That's exciting. I didn't know that starts were also an option for families. So we'll have to share that with our families here at the library. Okay, I'm going through, it looks like Martita, you want to share some information about Mama Moves?
Thank you. Yes, with the North Family Partnership Parent-Child Program, we launched for the first walk of the year, Mama Moves, at the Evergreen Park this last Friday. And we are so looking forward to have our next walk will be at the Clear Creek Silverdale Park. And it's going to be Friday, May 25th at noon. So Friday, let me see, I just looking, the 26th at noon. So please look us on Instagram, Mama Moves Kitsap, and please share with your postpartum mamas. If you have any, just send it to our way and we'll be happy to provide all the information. So Instagram, Mama Moves. Thank you so much. And this was an amazing meeting. I need to go and serve another family. So my apologies, but I need to leave. And thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Martita.
Thank you.
Jason, you have a comment here about the Farmers Market Nutrition Program. You want to verbalize that for us so
yeah,
people don't have to dig into the chat?
Definitely. So there's so thank you. I know Sarah just mentioned that it's posted to Meals on Wheels Kitsap's website, so that's certainly an option. We also have them posted on our website at agingkitsap.com. So if you go to agingkitsap.com, I should be able to find it pretty easily. I have to pull up our website here. And then we do sometimes get these requests from people that call our senior information assistance line. So that's certainly an option too. I mean, if you know of people that are just not as tech savvy, that cannot just print them out. So, or yeah, I think Sarah probably just that's another way that Sarah just posted of getting to our website. I think it's the link that you get redirected to from agingkitsap.com. So
cool. Thank you, Jason. It sounds like there's some good healthy food opportunities for people in the county. Okay. I don't see any other community agency updates, so I'm going to close out. I will say that next month we're going to have.
I got a couple really quick updates.
Oh, sure. Go for it.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry to jump the gun.
A couple events I just wanted to let people know about. There's one this Saturday. The Kitsap Suicide Awareness Coalition is having an event from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. They'll be at the Commissioners Chambers downtown. So if anyone's welcome to attend that. And we've got one more event for our Older Americans Month. Peninsula Community Health Services is doing a Shiva overview coming up on the 20th, so Tuesday next week from 12 o'clock to 1:15 at the Portrait Library.
Cool. Thank you, Jason. Ruth from Olympic Community of Health. Did you want to share a little bit with the group here?
Hi, yes, thank you, Lisa. My name's Ruth Winkler. I'm a community program coordinator for the Olympic Community of Health. This is the first time we're attending this meeting, so we're super excited to be engaged with this group as part of our work for this year. Is one of our focus areas is everyone housed. If you're unfamiliar with our organization, we are one of the 9 accountable communities of health in the state. So we cover Kitsap, Clallam, and Jefferson counties. And the best way to think of us is as a bridge builder between community and clinical partners to address health equities among our region. We're actually hosting a housing meeting tomorrow out at Red Cedar Hall in Sequim for the region to get partners together with health and housing and see how we can work together to address our housing crisis. So I look forward to joining these meetings and working with this group.
Thank you, Ruth. Appreciate you being here. Okay, any other agency updates? Grace from PCAP, go for it.
Hello, everybody. So my name again is Grace Ingram. I'm with the PCAP Parent-Child Assistance Program. And we serve women that are pregnant and parenting with women with substance abuse disorders. And we have several openings in our program, and wanted to just let everyone know what a great program it is. We provide transportation free to the ladies we serve. Also, you know, we extend that to their children and their family members on a limited basis for the family members. Primarily, we serve women with children, and it's a three-year program where they receive mentoring and guidance and goal setting, and just help them to move forward and better the lives of themselves and their children, and just break the cycle of substance use disorder and support them in their recovery journey. And so we have several openings, and if you know of anyone who would benefit from this program, please send them to us, and I will put our supervisor's name and number in the chat, and she would be the one that would determine eligibility.
Okay, thank you, Grace. We'll get that out in notes. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Okay, well, next month, Monk Tupai is going to do a presentation on his organization. If you all recall, he was one of our Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition awardees last year. And his organization, it seems like they're doing a lot of amazing things in the community. And so I asked him to share more about the work that organization is doing. We don't have any other presentations slotted. I might try to keep things light through the summer because it's such a busy time. But I might do a little plugging for the library's summer learning program, which kicks off in June. But it's free, it's accessible to all ages, and we've got a lot of great services that work universally, whether you are sheltered or unsheltered temporarily. So I might share a little bit of that with you all. Thank you so much, everyone, for your presentation today, for your presence. And you will get some amazing notes in a couple of days. And just have a wonderful afternoon. Stay cool. It gets hot again and tomorrow. So chew ice, or just sit under a shady tree. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks.